Okay, I realized in the video that I started editing that I kind of needed to, make sure it wasn't blinking so it actually works. Ignore the fork. I don't really want to hold this tiny thing, so ignore the fork. Welcome to today's video. Today I will be reading some dark romance books that my sister chose out for me. She chose 3 dark romance books because I just got finished with Christmas books, so why not? That being said, the first book and this, so she put all of these books in the order that she wants me to read them in. So for the first book that I'll be reading in today's video is Lights Out by Nevessa Allen because I need to read it. And me and my sister know a lot about characters. Like she has been adding on, what's his name? Josh? Yeah. She's been adding Josh. And I need to know who is Josh and what she's talking about. This is a book for Josh, but I don't know what she's talking about. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you have seen this book. This book kind of feels heavy. Oh my gosh. But I'm sure you all have seen this book and probably read it. I have not yet, and I'm going to, but maybe you haven't read this. I don't even know. Let me read the synopsis because that's what I feel like is easier for me to do is read the synopsis of these books instead of pretending like I know what's going on. A dark romance like you've never seen before. Can you handle the ride? I want someone with a soul as black as night, someone who would burn the world down for me and not lose a single minute of sleep over it. Trauma nurse Ali Capolucci does not need any more kinks. She likes the one that she's landed on just fine. To her, nothing could top the masked men she follows online. She fantasizes about one man in particular hunting her down, but she never could have guessed that one drunken text could make those dreams reality. I want things most people don't, craving darkness and depravity instead of light and love. Josh Hammond has spent his life avoiding the limelight, but his online persona is another story. At night, he posts mass thirst traps for his millions of fans, but one follower has caught his eye, Allie. Together, Allie and Josh live out their darkest fantasies, unaware that Allie has captured the attention of someone with far more sinister intentions. As Josh turns from predator to protector, he must ask himself how far he'll go for the woman he's obsessed with. Why am I doing this again? It's been so long since I've read a dark romance book, but this is the first one we're reading in this video. So the second one, which I'm so excited for, I'm excited for these next two because I know these books and I've read a book in these series before. So the next one is Little Liar, which is the second book in the Web of Science duet. So this is the second last book, and this is Malachi Weiss and Olivia's story again. But I think this is mostly in Malachi's POV, I think, and it tells a lot more about his past than the first book does. Only thing I don't like about Malachi is the spiders, or one spider in particular, his tarantula. However, I'm so excited. I need to read this. It's been so long. I read the first book in a day, but I need to read that. The next one, I'm so sad, and I've been holding it off just because of how sad I am to read it, because it's going to be the last one in the series. But that is Scythe and Sparrow by Brimweaver, the third and final book of the Ruinous Love trilogy, and I'm so sad. I'm so sad. This is Fions and Rose books, and I'm so freaking excited. So, the steamy finale. No. So the number one New York Times and USA Today best-selling Ruinous Love trilogy, a friends with benefits dark romantic comedy packed with murder, mayhem, and spice. Dr. Fion Kane is running from broken heart, one he hopes to mend in small town Nebraska, far away from his almost fiancée and his derailed surgical career. It's a simpler life, head down, hard work, and absolutely no romantic relationships. He wants none of the circus he left behind in Boston, but then the real circus finds him. Motorcycle performer Rose Evans has spent a decade on the road with the Silvera Circus, and it suits her just fine, especially when she has the urge to indulge in a little murder when she's not in the spotlight. But when a kill goes away, airing, and she ends up with a broken leg, Rose finds herself stuck in Nebraska at the home of the adorably nerdy town doctor. The problem is, not every broken heart can be sewn back together, and the longer you stay in one place, the more likely your ghost will catch up. I'm sorry, I'm sick. So, but this is the third and final book, and I think that's going to be the best one, which is why I'm so happy she put it as third. But, however, I'm so excited to read this book. I'm excited to read all three of these, and that's kind of weird because I'm not really a big dark romance reader, but dark romance is easy for me to get through, and it's really funny, and it's really quick, and I know dark romance is not supposed to be funny, guys, but it's funny to me. So these are three books we're going to be reading. We have two like comedy type books, and then Little Liar is more not comedy at all. It's really dark, but it's not as dark as most people think, but that's probably just me. Yeah, it's probably just me. But those are the three books we'll be reading this video. I will see you when I have a first update on Lights Out. Okay, so I have a first update about this book. So far, and by so far, I mean I'm literally in the middle of chapter 5 right now. I'm 52 pages in. Um, it is currently the same day as I filmed the intro, but it is 8:02 on December 7th. Um, honestly, this book is just it's it's a book right now, but like the way my jaw dropped in chapter 4, because like what do you mean we're already in chapter 4 and that's what's happening? Like it's only chapter 4. It's only chapter 4. How much further does this go? It's only chapter 4. But I'm liking it. It's like a good thing. I'm really liking it though. However, I'm like so sick right now and it's bothering me. So I'm just gonna sit here and read. I took off all my nails because they kept falling off. So I just took them off. I'm gonna keep reading, see if I can get like 100 pages in tonight. That would be cool. If I can get to at least 100 pages tonight. I'm already 52 pages in. Although I did listen to the audiobook. So if maybe the next 50 pages I can just read myself and get to the 100% mark. Well, no, the 100 page mark. That would be kind of cool. For the first day. Uh, yeah, that's what I'm gonna just do. I'm gonna sit here, read this, and yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. I'll see you when I have like a 50% update. Right now, we got to meet Allie, um, and what she does for work, and like there was a situation below this and that, but then we got to meet Josh and his side. And tell me why. 26 seconds into Josh's chapter, and I immediately paused it. I was like, what? Like the way. All I have to say is Tyler lost someone good, and he doesn't even know it yet. I don't even know it yet, but I know Tyler lost someone good. So that's all I have to say. But if you read it or if you're going to read it, you get to chapter 2, you'll know what I'm talking about. Although I do feel like since I just came from a book that had chapters that were literally like 2 pages long, these chapters being like 10 pages long are kind of irking me. But that's okay. That's okay. Because that means there's less chapters, which means I'll feel like I've finished it faster. Because it's like, oh, it's chapter 10. Like, obviously, I'm not going to finish it on chapter 10. There's only 26 chapters. The last book I read had 50 chapters because the chapters are so short. And it made me feel like I was reading for a longer time. But, you know, I'm excited. I'm excited. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. I'll see you when I have updates. You might be wondering what's this location I'm in. I'm still in my bedroom, guys. I'm just by the water heater, the AC. Yeah, the AC unit. My bed's over here. However, this is gonna be something you and I am not used to. Okay, so I am. This is still the same video, guys. I promise. It is December 8th at 12:09. I'm still sick, okay? So I didn't go to school today because I'm still sick. And I'm wearing this, like, that's over a shirt that I'm wearing because I'm so, like, cold, but I'm not cold. And I feel like, when you have, like, a fever and you wear, like, a whole bunch of clothing, or, like, bundle yourself up in a blanket because it should help you get better. That's what I'm kind of doing. I am still reading this book. I am on page 76 right now. I'm in the middle of a chapter. I'm in the middle of chapter 7. I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's pretty good. interesting. I kind of want them to just get together already, but I think it's just been me and romances lately. I've just been tired of the build up, and I kind of just want them to get together, even though it's a dark romance and there's supposed to be dark themes before that, but like I just want them to get together, okay? However, I am going to be after I finish that chapter, so I'm not in the middle of the chapter when I start it. I'm going to finish the audiobook. No, I'm going to listen to the audiobook as I reorganize that. Don't mind the clothes over there, but as I reorganize like my shelves and stuff, because I need to. I don't need to, but I want to. So that's what I'm gonna do. I didn't want to sit on my bed because I need to move around a little bit, but I'm going to finish reading that chapter, listen to the audiobook, and do this. And I think it's gonna be pretty fun for me right now, at least. A little something to get my mind off the fact that I'm sick. I hate it, but this update is going to be very quick and very easy because it just says I am over 50% of the way done with this book, and to say I'm enjoying it would be an understatement. Like, I'm so enjoying it. Does that make me unhinged? No, because if this was to happen in real life, the cops would be called. But for now, I will say I'm enjoying it. Um, I love Josh. He's so sweet, but he's so unhinged at the same time. And I love Allie. She's also sweet and funny, but also unhinged at the same time. And what they're doing right now is crazy. But the fact that Allie was like, "Oh, I know who you are." Literally on chapter like 5. It was like chapter 5, and she was like, "I know who he is." I'm on chapter what? Like 18, 17. I'm on chapter 17, and she made a joke last. She was like, "Is it safe to say that like she was like, well, I guess it's like a bad time to say that I was completely right about who you are." I'm just like, okay. I'm so sick, by the way, guys. But yeah, I'm enjoying this book. I cannot put it down. It's so good. Like, why haven't I read this sooner? Like, why was it on my TBR for as long as it was on my TBR? It wasn't on my TBR for like a year, like most of these books are. Um, I'm pretty sure some of these books are actually going on for 2 years now, and I'm looking at a couple of them, and I know they're going on for like 2 years now, and I feel so bad. But, however, I'm so happy that I picked up this book when I did. And that being said, I'm enjoying this book. I'm over 50% of the way through. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be like a 4-star for me, not necessarily a 5-star because I don't really rate dark romances 5 stars. Don't look at Haunting Adelaide. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. I'm pretty sure I also rated Little Stranger 5 stars. It depends on how this ends. If this ends the way I think it's going to end, and it's going to be no, okay, I don't think it's going to end anyways. But if this ends as cute as I hope it will be, then maybe we might have a 5-star in our hands. Maybe. But like, I love the humor in this. I think it's so funny. I think it's so sweet, and I think it's so cute. I love Josh. I love Allie. I love their relationship. I love the cat. I'm sorry, Fred is so funny. Fred's not even like a main character, but Fred seems like he's a main character. Like Fred can't even talk, but Fred's a main character in of itself, even though he can't talk. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. However, there was one little scene I was like, I got a little weirded out, but it's just like my preference, and it's very definitely part of a smut scene, but it was not a preference that I really like. What to say? What to say? Okay, I have an update on Lights Out. I am 66% of the way through, 69 on Fable, 66 on Goodreads. I don't know. I think it's because Fable, I have the exact amount of pages that you can read on Fable, and then on Kindle, no, on Goodreads, it just has like I think the entire amount of pages in the exact book and like in the full book, but I'm not sure. I don't know, or like different copy or whatever. However, yeah, I'm almost done with this book. I literally cannot. I'm on chapter 20, Josh's chapter. Yeah, she finally found out that, or like, she finally, what? She finally found out who Josh's father is, and I think that plot line was interesting, and like how that happened was interesting, and I was like a little scared. To me, I kind of felt like I was reading a thriller for a second because that kind of scared me of how her reaction was gonna be. Because they're together now. Like, I want to see this. Also, they're together now, and we have this much left the book. What the hell is going to happen? I'm kind of scared. Because usually when they get together, there's like maybe 100 pages left.
Not even 100 pages left. Maybe like 50 pages left. What can happen? What's gonna happen? Also, don't hold me on that 50 pages left. I literally just talking out of my head right now. Um, but yeah, what is gonna happen? I'm scared. I'm scared. Also, tell me why I hate Tyler. Like, I kind of hate Tyler in this book. He's kind of a douche and annoying. But tell me why the third book, Caught Up, is his, or is it Caught Up? Am I lying? Am I saying it wrong? I'm losing my mind. La da da, la da da. Game On. Caught Up is the second book. Game On is literally his book. And I was like, I told my sister yesterday, I was like, he better not have a book. I don't really like him. And I looked at him today and was like, he has a book. He has a book. Maybe I'll like him more in book 2, in Caught Up. Maybe if I see him more. Maybe by the end of the book 1. Maybe by the end of Lights Out, I will like him. But he's kind of a douche and he's just annoying. But like, I like his friendship between him and Josh. But like, other than that, he's just aggravating. Also, he does not seem like he could have anything dark with him. Like, but he's best friends with Josh, so that might say something. But we'll see. Maybe by book 3, when I read his book, I'll like him. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, that's my update right now. I'm really enjoying this book. I think it's gonna be like a 4.5 so far, maybe a 5 star, maybe a 5 star. Um, yeah, I'm not really having anything wrong with it, minus that one scene in what I told you. Not necessarily that I told you, but like that one situation that happened that I was talking about in earlier clips. But other than that, I don't really hate it. It's nothing bad. I'm enjoying this book. I think it's gonna be like a 4.5 though. If the ending is crazy, then it'll be a 5 star. But like for right now, I think it's just gonna be a 4.5. But I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna keep reading. My plan is to finish this book today. I can finish a book in a day, and I can finish these last 30 something percent. I'm probably doing the math wrong. I think it's like 40 something. Yeah, I'm gonna keep reading, finish this book, and I'll see you when I'm done. I hate like filming on my iPad because it's like such bad lighting and everything, but I don't really care right now. Um, I have some updates. I do. Yeah, so I finished Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. I finished that like hours ago, like hours ago, but I finished it, and honestly, it was pretty good. There was like one thing that I hated the entire time, and yeah, that was it. But I gave this a 4.75. If that one thing wasn't in there, it would have been a 5 star. But other than that, it's pretty good. I really like it, and I will be continuing the series. Honestly, Josh, the man that Josh is, first off, he's so sweet. I think that this is not on the darker side. Like, I don't know why going into it I was thinking like this was gonna be super super dark because it's under dark romance. This was not that dark. This was more like comedy with like maybe a little bit of suspense, but like it wasn't like a thriller or anything. Like it was definitely a romance, but it had maybe some suspense in it rather than like dark romance. Like yes, there was some kidnapping in there. There was some stalking. Did I say kidnapping? There's no kidnapping. There was some stalking, but like even he said it. Mild stalking. That's all it was. But honestly, I think they're adorable. I think it was cute. I think their relationship like flowed perfectly. When they got together flowed perfectly, and there was no third act breakup. I think that's like one of the best things about most like funny dark romances that I read. I haven't read that many, but like most of them, they don't break up. Like they don't break up, so you don't have a stupid third act breakup to deal with. Um, this one it was more in the threats of being stalked if Allie was threatening him that if he broke up with her, she'd stalk him. And he was like, don't threaten me with a good time. But yeah, that being said, I finished this book. I'm so happy I finally got to it. 4.75. Really enjoyed it. I think if you like funny, if you want to like read dark romance, I feel like this is a dark romance you can read to get into dark romance. Yeah. Just know there is some really dark topics in here, which I think is also the other reason why this is dark romance, is because like the dark topics aren't even really what he does. It's literally dark topics of what his dad does. And they like talk about it sometimes, and it's like, ugh. Like there were sometimes that he said them, and I was like, oh, I hate the imagining of that. Like, yeah, he's vegan. He's vegan for a reason, and no joke. After I read it, I kind of didn't want to eat meat. I ate meat, but like I kind of did not want to eat meat. But yeah, that's the only thing that's really really dark. They do have trigger warnings in the front of this book. I think they do have it on Kindle as well. I didn't have the Kindle version, but yeah, I'd say definitely look at the trigger warnings. If anything in the trigger warnings you don't like, no, I wouldn't really read it. Yeah, they talk about Ted Bundy in this book. Not like full out, but they like bring up his name. But anyways, yeah, that's the first book done for this video. And that being said, it is, what time is it? Oh, it's 8:56. And maybe like an hour-ish ago, I started reading Little Liar. I listened to some of it on audiobook. Actually, I listened to like most of this on audiobook so far. I'm only like 30, 20, I think I'm 30 something percent of the way through this book. And honestly, I was sitting there and I started listening to it and I said, what the heck happened in the first book? Like, I completely forgot how the first book ended. And I think I rated the first book pretty highly too. So that's kind of crazy that I forgot how it ended. But like, yeah, I kind of forgot how it ended. So I had to like look up some recaps and everything and talk to my sister, who's also read The Little Stranger. And like, we had to like piece together what the heck happened at the end so I can go into this one because I was kind of confused. This is literally like, basically, it starts all the way back from the beginning of where you get an Olivia story, but further back because then you get a Malachi story from when he was like before he got adopted into the Vise family. And but it's like you had Olivia's POV and all the stuff that happened when he did get adopted by the Vises, and you're just getting that in his perspective. And this is like basically for the most part all in his perspective. I don't even know. I think maybe because there is like names under the chapter. Oh, so Olivia does get some POVs, but I think this is like mostly in Malachi's. So you get to see like because in Olivia's POV, all you really see is like him signing stuff and her learning and trying to figure out what he's saying. Especially like when they're younger, when they first meet and they're signing and everything. You don't know what he's saying because he doesn't. It's not in his POV. You don't know what he's saying. So reading this book, you actually understand what he's saying there and what he's feeling and what he's going through right there. So it doesn't seem as bad as it seemed when you were reading in Olivia's POV. However, yeah, there's some things in here like they're foster siblings. If you don't like that, don't read this book. Um, don't even read the first book. But I kind of forgot some of the things that have happened, like the tent scene and everything. I forgot that that happened in the first book, and I'm kind of concerned. Why did I think it's a good thing that my reading taste has changed over the last year and I've seen it change because while I do still like Malachi, what is this book? Like what is this book kind of? What are the things that happened and how did I get through the first book in like a day and just enjoyed it? Like what was wrong with me? But like, yeah. Although I do feel like from Malachi's POV, it kind of makes it worse. Like I feel like it was a lot better and a lot like how do I describe this? I can really I wish I remembered what my thoughts were when I was reading the first book because what do you mean? I just read this and I was fine with it. What? I'm like um, it's good for a book. Honestly, all I can really say right now is a it's a book. It's a book. And it kind of hurts me cuz before I read this book, it's crazy because I'm pretty sure if I read Hunting Adeline, I might have the same thoughts and feelings I'm having when I'm reading this book because I only read Haunting Adeline. Me and my sister only both read Haunting Adeline, and we love Zay Meadows. And we both read Little Stranger, and we love Malachi. But I'm kind of scared I'm not gonna really like Malachi after this book. But maybe I might. Maybe I might. I just might not like him and Olivia together. I think I really like Malachi, but him and Olivia, like okay, one thing I think I did not really recognize in the first book is that they're both adopted. Like both of them are siblings, not blood related, which I guess is the reason why I'm not that bad like upset about it because they're really not blood siblings.
But, however, they are both adopted. So, like, Olivia was adopted first by the Vises, and then Malachi was adopted. But because Malachi is mute and he doesn't talk and everything, he gets like more, and like because of his mental issues and stuff like that, he gets more like a leeway with what he can and cannot do. But Olivia doesn't because she's more normal, you know? But seeing them get closer, I kind of forgot like how quickly, because it does skip timelines because you don't want to really repeat everything that happened from the first book so that you can get more in Malachi's POV. And I think there's a lot more that happens at the end of this book. I forgot what the cliffhanger was, and I didn't really get a good understanding of what the cliffhanger was when I was looking at the recaps, but yeah, I'm pretty sure when we get to that point, I'll remember exactly what happened. But there was a cliffhanger. I just remember there was a cliffhanger, and it was crazy. And I wanted to read the second book, but I didn't have it. So yeah, good thing though. This is under Kindle Unlimited, and I did get the Audible book with a credit. My phone's on this side, so I'm reading that at the same time. I mean, I'm listening to the audiobook, and I have it on my Kindle, so I'm enjoying it. And I want to finish this book, and not just because I want to continue on with this video and get books read, but because I just want to finish this book so I can see the reason why I really liked the first one and see if I still actually like Malachi Vice and if I like Olivia. Like, I love them separately. I don't know why, but I feel like in this book, Olivia seems more bratty. Is it just me, or does Olivia seem a little more bratty than I felt like she was in the first book? I think it's because we were in her perspective, so we got like her internal thoughts too, which I think is the reason why I'm kind of liking Malachi. Like, I kind of like Malachi more in this book because we get to see his thoughts and everything. And I think that's what usually happens when you don't get a guy's perspective in the first book, but in the second book you get a lot more of his perspective. Then you start to like understand him, and I'm understanding him a lot more, and I'm feeling bad for him for what he went through and everything. But that being said, what what is this book? Yeah, that's my update right now. I finished Lights Out, 4.75. I think you really should read this book. It's so freaking hilarious. Like, even the parts where they were supposed to be so serious, I swear I was laughing. Like, I'm telling you, if Josh was a real person right now and he said to Allie, if she laughs at a stupid scene in this book and like she laughs and it's something that I said in the book, you have to owe me like $20. I would have literally lost it for Allie, and Allie would have probably killed me because I would have laughed so freaking hard. Josh is so freaking funny. Allie's funny too, but Josh is so freaking funny. For being a masked man, he's so funny. Honestly, I think I liked Josh a little more after he took the mask off than when he had the mask on. Like, even I was a little like, ugh, with the mask on. But update right now. Finished a book, started another one. I'm just gonna read this. I might read some of it tonight on my Kindle. I really just want to get this book done so I can move on to Skype and Spare. Okay, so I'm like 40% of the way through. Let's talk about this. Let's do that. I've rated the first book 5 stars. What? The first half of this book is just a recap of what happened in the first book. But in Malachi's perspective, I gave this book 5 stars. I gave the first one 5 stars. What? I'm scared. Maybe that's just because my reading taste has fully changed, and Little Stranger was like one of the first dark romances I read. So it's probably the reason why. But also, I just realized I did not need to read like or watch a recap video because the first half of this book is basically a recap, and I'm kind of bored because all I'm getting is repeating everything that happened in the first book, but from his perspective. And I would say it. More towards the beginning, I was fine with it because it was like I get to understand him more. Now I'm just like Malachi's still an amazing man. Not amazing, but like he's still a man. But like no joke, if this was real life, 911 would be called because what do you mean? You're my foster brother. Also, the brother sister kink, that last like y'all saw my face. That last part of the last chapter, it just disgusted me. I have to finish this book. Like obviously I don't have to, but I'm going to because I hate the fact that I'm repeating stuff right now. I really want to get to the second part because I think the second part might be something completely different. I think the first part is completely the wrap up, and then the second part is I think the new stuff is in part two, and that's literally only two chapters away. I could definitely, yeah. Okay, so chapter 14 after, so like right when we hit part two, that's present day. So this is all past leading up to that. So we have two more chapters, and then I'm at part two. I might just read those two more chapters before I have to go to school. I'm so sick, but I have to go to school before I get withdrawn. It's 11:20. So I'm just gonna finish these last two chapters of this part, and then I'll leave part two for a little bit. But I think part two is gonna be maybe a little bit better. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a little bit better, but I don't really want to tell y'all much because this is the second book in the series. But they're siblings. I don't care that they're not blood siblings. They're siblings. This is weird. Yeah, I'm gonna finish those two chapters. I was reading on Kindle, but Kindle said it was like 14 minutes long. So I was like, let me read it in the book. It might seem faster. It did not seem faster. I lied to myself. Oh, this chapter's only 2 minutes. Cool, let's read it on Kindle. Yeah. I'm gonna read this, get to part two, and I'll see you later when I have updates. But like, I'm so weirded out right now. I'm so like, my cringe meter has gotten higher throughout the year with books, and I'm hitting that cringe meter right now. It's so ugh. I'm back, and I'm happy to say that I finished Little Liar. I have found that my reading taste for dark romance has changed since when I read Little Stranger. Because I do believe that I did like that book at the time, but let's just say the second epilogue was my favorite part, and it was 5 minutes long. But every 27-minute chapter, I hated. Like, I liked a couple of things, but like, it's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's not a bad book by any means. It's just not highly rated for me. It's not a book I would rate highly. And I think it's just because like I liked some of the dark romance aspects in it. I liked how there was some background. I liked how we got this in Malachi's POV and understood him a little more. Um the plot thing that was cool when they took Olivia. That was interesting. How they got her back. I kind of don't understand what happened there. I feel like it just like they dropped something and they were gone. I was like, I don't know what happened there. However, interesting. Um, yeah. That being said, Molly's my favorite character. That right there, Molly is my favorite character. I love Molly. I enjoyed meeting Molly and seeing Molly. Their son, he's funny. Um, that being said, that's all I really liked about this book. Oh, that sounds so bad.
It's not a bad book by any means. I feel like some people would like this book. However, my reading taste on dark romance has changed. I think I like the funnier dark romance, not the dark romance that has really dark themes, or where they call each other sister and brother during certain scenes. However, I do take Olivia's side on that, where she was like, "You have to pick one or the other," and Malachi was like, "No, we're both." See, like I like Malachi as a person. I don't like what he does half the time, though. Okay. That being said, I think I'm gonna rate this a 3 star. Like I said, it wasn't a bad book. Like it wasn't a 2 star. It wasn't like I'm not like going to read any more of Lee Rivers' books. It's not like I didn't enjoy the series. I think the series as a whole would be a 3 star series for me as well. I, you know, it was a good ending. Let's just say it did have a good complete ending, and that was fine with me. However, yeah, I'm gonna give this a 3 star. I think honestly, my reading taste for dark romance and my reading taste in general just has changed. So there's a lot of things in the past I would have given like high 4 stars or maybe a 5 star that I will not give that anymore. So because I've read so many books now. That being said, happy I finished this. I'm ready to go into Sky and Sparrow because Sky and Sparrow and that entire trilogy is just funny, and I think that's what I needed is a funny vibed dark romance, which I think is the reason why I think it's good that my sister did Lights Out, and then this one, and then that one at the end because it's starting with a funny ending with a funny one, and like the themes in those books are dark, but they're not that dark. You know, they're not this type of dark. However, I will say, thinking about it now, I think the first book was seemed a little darker than this one. I may be wrong. I may be misremembering things because I read the first book like a year ago, but I feel like going from my memory, this was a lot lighter on the dark romance than the first one is. Don't quote me on that though, but hey, it's got a nice cover. That's going for it. Also, the thing, what I can't remember what they named her, but don't get me wrong. I hate spiders. I'm scared of spiders. I have arachnophobia. Me and Olivia are the same on that one. We both have arachnophobia. However, the thing that they named the spider and the fact that the spider does not hurt you is cute. I think the spider, if the spider was a character and can talk, I'd love it. I love it, but that would make this a fantasy book, and it's not that. But that being said, I just cleaned my room, so my room is nice and clean now, and I feel a lot happier now that that's done. Yeah, probably gonna do some schoolwork because it's Sunday. It's December 14th at 4 o'clock. Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of schoolwork to get ready for this week, and then get started with Sky and Sparrow, which I'm so excited to get started with. Um, yeah, so I'll see if I have any updates. Well, when I have updates on that book. Okay, it's time for an update. I am at like 30% of the way through this book. I think I'm exactly 30% of the way through this book. And honestly, I'm so enjoying it. It might not look like it on my face. I'm just really tired. Yeah, I'm just really tired. But I'm having a lot of fun. Every time I put down this book, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about picking it up again, which I think is a good thing. So I picked it up. I literally sat here and was like on my iPad just watching YouTube, and I was like, let's read. So I put on my little ambiance over there, no cats, and I picked up the book. And yeah, I was reading it on Kindle last night as well. I've been reading it on Kindle too. Um, like I said previously, like I like having it on Kindle as well, so I can read it at nighttime, so I don't have to hold the physical book. But at the same time, you know, I like reading the physical book. I've also been listening to the audiobook as well, and honestly, I like the audiobook. Fion's voice is so yeah. Honestly, So far, and if I did like a ranking system so far of all three of the brothers, of the Kane brothers, Rowan's my favorite, Fion's my second favorite, and he's been my second favorite since the first book, and then Lachlan is my third. Yeah, I really, that's the order I stand by. I think Rowan is, she's just like so out there, and he's so funny. He's just hilarious immediately. Fion's sweet. Fion's so sweet. I think that's the reason why I like Fion, because he's sweet. Like, there's no grumpy sunshine in this book. It's literally friends to lovers. Oh, friends with benefits, but friends to lovers, right? And honestly, Fion's just so sweet. And the problem is he cannot stop caring. Like, he proposed to Claire. I don't even remember if we saw Claire. I think we did. I think he was with Claire in Rowan's, like in Butcher and Blackbird. I think he was with Claire. I don't know if they were together in Leather and Lark or not, but yeah, he proposed to Claire and Claire said no. So he moved away to get away from him. Well, to get away from her. So he moved to Nebraska so that he can get away from that life and everything and, move on. And then Lachlan's hilarious, but yeah. I don't know how to explain Lachlan. Lachlan just, he's Lachlan, okay? If you get it, you get it. Lachlan's funny, but he's not as funny as Rowan. Like, he's funny, but he's also serious because he's the oldest out of the three. I think it goes Lachlan, then Rowan, and then Fion. So Rowan's the funny one, Fion's the kind and sweet one, and then Lachlan's the really serious one. Like, he can be funny, but he's so serious because he has like the toughest job, you know? How do I say this? Like, he has a really hard job, and his job could get him into a lot of trouble and everything. Like, all three, well, not Fion's a doctor, but like Rowan goes to, like, they both go to him to figure out things so that they don't get in trouble. And it's like that big brother energy. I mean, I'm an older sister, so I kind of understand, protecting your siblings. But like, he's really serious. So that's like the three of them. But in this book, Fawn is so sweet, and it's just the thought of the fact that he literally does not. He moved away, so he didn't have to deal with love. He didn't have to deal with romance, and then he meets Rose, and Rose is sweet, adorable. Like, there's no meanness in here. Nothing's mean. They're not being mean to each other. They're being really kind. She shows up after murdering. Oh, not murdering. After attempted murder, and then she shows up at his office and breaks in because she's injured. She has a problem with blood and gore. She literally passes out from blood and gore, mind you. And this is like a dark romance book. The first book, I'm telling you, they love blood and gore. Second book, they like blood and gore. This one, she hates blood and gore. Like, she literally threw up after doing a scene that I'm not gonna say, but like, she did that. Yeah, the literally, Bryn Weaver was not joking when, is it Bryn or is it Brynine? I think it's Bryn. I can't remember, but she wasn't joking when she literally said in the trigger warning, a lot of eyeballs. She wasn't joking. Like, I'm starting to think that Rose has a thing for eyeballs, even though she gets so weirded out when she does stuff. But like, I think she has a thing for eyeballs. Date. Okay, I am at 52% of the way through Skype and Sparrow. It's 6:50, no, 6:35 on Thursday. It's the 18th. Yeah, I'm so enjoying this book. So enjoying it. I think I've been reading it a lot slower because this is like a really highly anticipated book for me. Not even just that, I'm trying to savor everything I can get because it's the last book in the series. So I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad. But I finally got to see Lachlan and Rowan, and then I finally got to see Sloane and Lark. And yeah, like I think it's harder because when reading it, I feel like I got more of what happened for when the Rowan situation in Lachlan's book as well from Lachlan's perspective, but in here I only got Rose's perspective and Rose's side of it. But I feel like I should have gotten more. But I don't know. However, I'm so enjoying it. I'm so enjoying it. I think they should get together though. But I'm scared of something that's gonna happen. Because what do you mean? I'm like 50% of the way through, and they're starting to feel romantic feelings. They haven't said it to each other yet, but like they're starting to feel romantic feelings. And I'm scared. Like, what's gonna happen? I'm terrified. However, I am really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. Like, I'm so happy I picked up this book. But I'm so sad to finish it. Like, I want to finish it, but I don't want to finish it because I'm gonna be so sad to let these characters go. Yeah. That being said, I'm gonna keep reading. I just wanted to give you a little update. But yeah, I'm gonna keep reading. I might finish it tonight. Who knows? Who knows? I am ready for my final update and last clip of this video. Yeah, it's hard to say. But I finished Skype and Sparrow last night. You saw. Um, yeah. I was like, maybe I should think on it because this is the final book in a series that I've given every single book 5 stars. The first 2 books were 5 stars for me. And it's been a bit since I read the second book, and I was wondering if my reading tastes have really fully changed, that maybe this was not going to be my type of dark romance. I think these two are definitely my type of dark romance, but I definitely like how Bren Weaver does it just a little bit more. And that might be a crazy thing to say for some people because a lot of people do like Lights Out, but however, I did think on this and I thought on it for another like half of a day. It's 4:38 right now. The next day, I genuinely thought on this, and it's going to be a 5 star. I think this entire series is a 5 star series for me. I love all the characters. I love the way Britton Reaver writes. I love the way that she adds just a tad bit of dark romance while also making it funny, and I love it. I love the connections. I love how we were able to see all the other characters, and I love that little snippet at the back that I think is for the little novella thing that's after that goes with this series, in which I will most best definitely be reading soon. But that being said, yeah, 5 stars. I love the series. I'm gonna miss these characters. I'm gonna miss the series. I probably will be rereading the series one day. Um, yeah,
I will say, look at trigger warnings. There is trigger warnings in the front of this book. I did also read it on Kindle, and I think the trigger warnings are also on Kindle. I also listened to a little bit of the audiobook. I don't know if the trigger warnings are in the audiobook or not, but yeah. All in all, this series, this book, so good. I would recommend. Um, this is like a very specific type of dark humor, though. This is a very specific type of humor, and I know some people that I've seen read this series and did not like it because they did not like the humor that was in it. But I personally did. I think this was an amazing end to the series for like the full books. I think this was an amazing end, and honestly, I loved seeing all of the characters again and reliving things and getting to have fun with these characters while also feeling so deeply for them. Like, I think it's the best thing that that Burn Weaver kept Fion for last because, yeah, I think that's the best thing because, you know, he's not only the youngest, but he's the most like secretive one out of all three of them. Like, yes, people would say, have you seen Lachlan? Have you seen Lachlan? Yes. But I feel like Fion from the first book, he was like he was a character that I definitely knew I was gonna want more of, but also a character that from the first page that I met Fion, I was like, whoa, this is gonna be a character that literally is going to feel like a hidden gem. Like, you're not gonna understand this character until you get to the end of this his book. And I feel like there was times in this book I was like, I know him, I understand him. Then something would happen, I'd be like, I don't understand him, I don't know him, but I feel for him. And I love when I can literally like continue to read a book and not really fully understand the character, but still feel for them because I know that by the end of that book, I'm going to understand him so well. And that's what happened here. So, 5 stars. Enjoyed the series. This is my type of dark romance. Brynn Weaver's books I will continue to read. Um, I did hear that her next series that she's starting is actually better than this one for a lot of people. We'll see my opinion on that because this series is like high in my heart. But that being said, um, that was a 5 star. We read Lights Out. That was the first book we read actually, and this was a 4.75. Really interesting. Definitely think you should read this. Also, a specific type of like dark comedy. Um, Definitely a little bit darker than Sky and Sparrow. Definitely still very humorous. Enjoyed this book. Josh is such a funny character, such a sweet character. Allie, Allie is just literally like a diamond. Love Allie so much. Yeah, 4.75. And then we have Little Liar. I definitely know for a fact this is on the like really, really dark side. You have to truly feel for the darkness. Like, there's some people I know that would definitely feel for this and like it more than I did. I don't think that if I reread the first book that I would feel the same as I did. I'm not going to be rereading the first book or rereading the series in general. Um, I did like it. I do feel like this is just not my version of dark romance anymore. And I think when I first read Little Stranger, it was my type, but now not really. However, do still like it. I do recommend this for if the things that are put in this book, if you do like that stuff or if you think you might like it. However, if you're going to start reading dark romance, I would not say this. I would also not say Haunting Adeline. That's for sure. Neither of those I would say. I would say read one of these because they're a lot more funny and they just like they have those little sprinkles of dark romance while also being just a humorous romance book in general. So I would say start with these because they just bring the funny into it. But wait until you're like further in before you start a book like this because this is really dark. It's also really it can be really triggering. There's a lot of triggering things in here. That even me reading it, I did get triggered, and I think that's also because the first time I read a dark romance or a Little Stranger, I was in like a really dark headspace, so I was already fine with it. I was used to that dark headspace. Now I'm more in a clear headspace, and I feel like this just didn't really pique my interest with this clear headspace that I have. Not saying you have to be in a really bad headspace to read this book. You don't. You could literally be in the best headspace ever
and still enjoy this book. However, I'm just saying for me, I think it was because I was in a darker headspace and in a really low time in my life that I did enjoy that first book. However, 3 stars, I did like it. I think it was a good ending for this duology, but I would say maybe definitely check the trigger warnings and don't read this series as your first dark romance or even your second dark romance. I would say save this for more of when you've read a bunch of them because this is pretty dark. However, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's darker out there, but for me, this is like one of the darker ones I've read. And honestly, I would say hold off on this one until you've read some light, fluffy ones to bring you into it because this is dark. So, and they are siblings, not blood related, but they're still siblings. However, those were the 3 books I read in this video. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.